one thing though, and this is something I've had to learn to cope with over the years. When I trick shoot, especially when I throw 4, 5, 6 targets up, okay, I'll look at that one, and while I'm shooting it, my eyes are already looking at the next one, and when I shoot it, my eyes are already at the third one. And so my eyes can focus and bounce really, really quick, which doesn't help me on the sporting clays course when I need to look at one all the way across the field. Yeah, and they get out there and they get involved, and I get a lot of volunteers, and it's fun. You know a cool thing about trick shooting? Nobody cares if you miss.
It's good. It's all good. You're still a hero because you're living your dream. You're out there doing what everybody wants to do.
Nobody cares if you miss, because if I don't miss, then it ain't hard enough.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Like, share, and subscribe. This podcast is sponsored by the following: Remington, made with pride in the USA. Iconic American impact. Wenig custom gun stocks. Head on down for your custom fitting. Remember, winners shoot Wenig. Shot Tracker, like having a coach on your barrel. For more info, go to takeaimtech.com. Life is too short to miss. RM Shooting Clinics, helping shooters from coast to coast. Have Ricky take your game to the next level. Zach Nanini at Northwestern Mutual. Trusted advice from someone you know. We believe in putting people first. Other supporters for Trap Talk. The Nevada State Trapshooting Association. Don't miss their 75th annual state shoot this October in Las Vegas. The NSTA puts on some great shoots, and they're going big for this year's state. Go to nvtrap.com to check out their program and all other shoots as well.
Welcome to another episode of Trap Talk. We are live at the Grand America in 2023, and I've got my co-host Richard Marshall Jr. and my good friend Travis MEARS. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Well, thanks for having me. This is a quick trip for me, but I'm excited to be here with you two guys.
Perfect. So I know me and Ricky are getting ready to shoot this thing over the next 2 weeks, but you come in every year and do a exhibition shoot. Tell our listeners all about that.
Yeah, so exhibition shooting is essentially trick shooting. It's just a fancy word for it. And so what I'll do is it's all about entertaining the crowd. And so it's a 45-minute show, and it's everything from shoot from the hip, behind the back, between the legs. When I've got it, I've got an inversion table, a trampoline. And so it's extreme shooting. I throw, most of the stuff hand thrown, 1 all the way up to 8, 10 targets, and blow some stuff up, shoot some fruits and veggies. It's a fun way for me to share my passion for the sport.
Now, you do 2 shows, don't you? One early and one late.
Well, I have in the past done a show for AIM and then come back and do one for the Grand, but this year, because of some other shows in Minnesota, I'll just be here for the AIM this year.
Okay. So Ricky, we should probably eat a little bit more fruits and vegetables. He can chop them up for us.
Yeah. And I've been to a ton of Travis's shows. He does an awesome job. He entertains the crowd. The kids love it, especially the AIM stuff. This is all about the kids here this week.
Well, it is. I do 30, 35 shows a year, and the most fun are the ones that the stands are full of the kids. Because whether they've seen it or not, they're excited, they're passionate, and hopefully that the way I'm portraying the message and shooting the targets is in an entertaining way where one of those guys or girls is going to take my job someday. I was them. I came up through the youth sports and was intrigued by trick shooting and took it on, and I've been doing it for 20 years now. And so somebody in those stands tonight might be in my position in 10 years.
The next deal.
Right.
Well, and that's one thing is touch a little bit on your past, how you got into shooting. Mm-hmm. I know your dad really well because Travis and I are both on Wenig, and so's Zach, and then we're on Team Fiocchi together too. So tell us a little bit about your history in shooting sports.
Well, I was really fortunate to grow up at a gun club, not because we had any kind of ownership or anything. My dad was just passionate about it, and every Wednesday and Sunday we were at the club shooting. There's stories of him tying me up in the stroller to the pole, and when him and his buddies would shoot around the skeet. When he'd get done, he'd untie me and I'd go the other direction. And so, from being in diapers all the way until I was old enough to hold up a gun, I've been at the range. And so when I was 9 years old, I started shooting, and there was only a couple other kids that were shooting at our local club. but Dad could tell that I enjoyed it. Dad could tell that I had a knack for it, and that he wanted to pursue it. So he took it upon himself to start a youth shooting team, and we started with Johnson County 4-H team. We started the team with 4 shooters when I was, I think, 10 years old, and by the time I graduated high school, it was close to 60 kids on the team.
Wow.
We were traveling all over the country. We won every Texas state championship we went to. We won most of the national championships, if not all of them, in skeet trap and sporting clays, mostly skeet trap, or skeet sporting clays, I should say. And then, along in that timeline, classic clay target sports came along, and so we got involved in that and traveled with that. And then at the time, collegiate shooting just had some recent opportunities for scholarships, and so I went to Lindenwood, and so I've literally shot in every youth organization that there is. And then, real fortunate after school, I always thought, I need to go get a job to where I can afford to continue to shoot and do this game, right?
Yeah, we need it. We need a little cash.
Yeah.
And so I went to Lindenwood and had an incredible time there. We won, I was part of 5 national championship teams there and had 7 individual championships. But I went for a business degree, stayed for my master's, and went home, and the goal was to make it and continue shooting. And so I did. I was in a corporate big building in a suit and tie for 5 years, and every year I was trying to squeeze an extra vacation day, and whether it was for shooting or hunting. And so you could tell where my passion was, and so eventually I just had to make it happen. I started a shooting range, and now I get to be at the range every day. And so whether I'm working or shooting, I'm around a shotgun or a clay target just about every day.
Every day. Now, so let's back up a minute. In your collegiate days, did you shoot all 3 disciplines in those days at Lindenwood?
I did.
Okay.
I traveled when we shot the register stuff. I traveled and shot mostly sporting clays.
Yeah.
But at the collegiate level, when you go to one of the tournaments, you shoot all the games. So skeet trap and as a sporting clay shooter, I've always been an all-around guy. Like I didn't want to win one event or another event. I wanted to win them all.
Yeah.
And so, with my background in skeet and in trap at the 4-H and SCTP levels, I was pretty confident on both of those fields and could hold my own. I wasn't going to go beat you 2 guys, but I wasn't going to take myself out of the overall. And so, I think my last year I won international skeet national championship. I won the international trap national championship. I shot 98 skeet and 98 trap, and then I won the sporting clays and the 5 stand, and then won the overall. So
not a bad year.
Pretty good. Pretty good year.
It's okay.
It takes 100 and a shoot off to win the skeet and trap.
Yeah.
But I didn't shoot bad enough to take myself out of it.
Yeah.
So, it's a cool game, and now my career is mostly sporting clays and trick shooting focused, but I could go out there and hopefully hold my own.
Absolutely.
On the trap round. I love all the games. I just have to pick and choose what I'm going to spend the most time on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing with our listeners. We're predominantly trap as far as the episodes we do. But we do like to bring other games in and stuff like that, and especially with your background, you've been one of the top sporting clay shooters, the last 25 years, I'd say, or longer. I mean,
I'm old.
Exactly. Well,
You look good.
Yeah. Well,
So vegetables.
That's right.
And when you do your trick shooting, I mean, I got a good friend of mine, which Chase Walter.
Right.
He does a little bit of that stuff too. But I've watched you a lot and him, and it's amazing the way that you can just move that shotgun around from the hip. I never got into trick shooting. I do it occasionally, but my coach and mentor, Frank Hoppy, he could shoot trap from the hip and break 25 straight. Now, Ray Stafford has been known to break 25 straight in singles. I really never got into it because I'm like, I want to shoot good, so I'm going to do it from the shoulder.
Right.
But, I think we need to have you help Zach a little bit on the sporting clay side because
I can always use a little help.
Well, I love seeing you guys at the sporting clay shoots. Man, it's a hoot to see y'all cross over and shoot some of that stuff. And y'all went over to Dubai this year.
Yep.
I was having a great time following y'all on Facebook and watching y'all over there. Just
We
wishing
were
I was
taking
there.
pictures, having fun. Next time you can come.
Yeah.
But to roll back a little bit, you mentioned shooting from the hip, and there's got to be some correlation with other shooting. I mean, we talk about looking at a target intently when we're shooting from the shoulder.
Yep.
When you're shooting from the hip, how do you dial that in, and how do you train that? Is it an intent focus on looking at the bird, and then or the cabbage or the tomato or whatever it is,
Right.
and then you're locking to a spot on your body with the gun, or how do you train that skill?
Well, it's there's a whole story on how the trick shooting started, and we can jump into that if you want to. But as far as shooting a shotgun, there's no more of an instinctive way than shooting from the hip, and so it's literally the combination of looking at the target and pointing at it, just like if you ask me to point at Zach real quick, I can do it pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with our shotgun. It's just down here, and so when we have the gun up here at our shoulder, it's in our face. It's blocking 40% of our vision. When I've got it down here at the hip, I've got full peripheral vision. I've got depth perception, and the gun is just down here in the in the bottom of my vision. So
Yeah.
I don't have to really think about it. I just look at it. So one thing though, and this is something I've had to learn to cope with over the years. When I trick shoot, especially when I throw 4, 5, 6 targets up, okay, I'll look at that one, and while I'm shooting it, my eyes are already looking at the next one, and when I shoot it, my eyes are already at the third one. And so my eyes can focus and bounce really, really quick, which doesn't help me on the sporting clays course when I need to look at one all the way across the field. You know what I mean? And so
That's
it's also it's an aggressive sport, and so when I pull the trigger, I'm slapping it and I'm pulling it as hard as I can because it's got to go now. And when I'm on a sporting clay or a trap ski, you trying to be real smooth and methodical.
Yeah.
And so over the years, I've had to really train myself to flip the switch depending on if I'm in front of a crowd or if I'm shooting a sporting clays tournament.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And like what you said there with the switching of the eyes, I think that comes into play a lot. Like when we're shooting doubles, like as soon as we shoot a doubles target, the two that come out and trap, bang, and my eyes, like the quicker I can get them onto that second shot, I don't even want to see the smoke of the first shot. And that allows us to get in between shots really, really quick. So, that correlates.
because your first target doubles, you're shooting as fast as you can.
Oh yeah, spot shot.
Yeah, you're not, and I move the gun, I'll spot you, but as soon as I'm pulling the trigger, I don't want to, I see it in my peripheral, but I don't want to watch it and go, oh, and then you freeze.
Right.
So I understand that so when I'm shooting sporting on a true pair, I see that exactly what you're talking about. I'll see that first target, and I'm like, and then my eyes go to the second one, and I'm like,
it's not done yet.
okay, you gotta shoot the first one. And this just happened. So we just came from, Zach couldn't make it, Iowa State shoot.
Right.
And my buddy Ryan Glow, who runs the Omaha Gun Club, he had an awesome shoot over there. I mean, won everything basically. So we shoot on a sporting clays league.
Right.
Well, it was set corporate course. So we got back and we shoot back to back on each station. Well, I missed 2 on the one station, true pair, up in the air, and my same deal.
Yeah, you see.
And I'm like, what the heck? So go to my next 10. I missed 1. Go to the last pair, missed 1. I'm like, this is lovely. And Ryan's straight. We get all done. I broke a pair of 98s. He breaks a 95, 96. We talk about that station, and that's what I said. I go, hey, we're like in trap doubles, bang, and then your eyes shift. Well, as soon as I'm getting ready to shoot, I see the other one coming. I'm like, oh, then you freeze.
Yeah, you don't finish
so
the shot.
that's what I wondered in the trick shooting, because what's the most targets you've broke at one time? Hello, Trap Talk listeners. Today's episode is brought to you by Wenig Custom Gun Stocks.
That being said, a custom gun stock is going to elevate your game because you get the same fit every single time.
And I can attest to that. I broke hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hundreds with my Wenig Custom Gun Stock.
I haven't broke hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hundreds, Rick, but I did break 100 from the 27 within 7 days of getting my stock, and broke 2 more that year and loved it.
Here, this is
Okay, do you take it or me?
We'd like to thank Wenig Custom Gun Stocks for supporting Trap Talk.
That being said, everyone knows.
Winners shoot Wenig.
Are we doing the end part?
I've tied the world record many times, which is 8 or 9, hand thrown from the hip. And then from over the head, as many as 5 or 6, behind the back 3 or 4.
Yeah. Have you attempted to do 10, 11?
You know, I've probably thrown it, but I'm not going to sit there all day and try to get
do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I've never been one to call in the video crew. We're going to break a record today.
Hey, we're gonna do this.
I ain't got time for all that. So, you know, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be in front of a live crowd.
Yeah.
And there's no editing involved. And this is what's about to happen. Let's go.
That's how we shoot podcasts.
Yeah.
You get what you get. You don't like it, don't listen.
Yeah. And you know, and there's been many, you know, great trick shooters over the years, but you know, growing up watching some of these shows, a lot of their stuff was from the shoulder, and it was really impressive because they were, you know, shooting a ton of targets, but it's from the shoulder, and it's, to me, that was never a trick.
Get that
Yeah.
over here.
You know, that's never a trick, and so the only things I shoot from the shoulder in the whole show is I shoot the paint can in the beginning, which is just a 12 round dump.
Yeah.
And then I'll shoot at the end. I'll shoot the red, white, and blue because I really need to hit it hard. And so most of the stuff is going to be from the hip, and that's where I'm the most comfortable. I will say, when you know, if anybody wants to try trick shooting, it's a lot of fun. It needs to be in a safe manner. But you know, one thing that's different is when I shoot from the shoulder. Let's say we're shooting, you know. I'd like to use a trap example, but I don't have a good one. Let's just talk about a skeet field. Okay, we got skeet field, target from the left, target from the right. We're standing on station 4. Theoretically, it takes 3.5 to 4 foot to break both those targets, right?
Yep.
Well, when you shoot from the hip, it takes 2. Okay, you take it over the head, it's back to, you know, 3.
Okay.
You go down between the legs, now it's, you know, 6 inches. And so the picture I'm trying to draw is the further the bead or the end of the muzzle is away from the eye, the less perceived lead.
Lead it is.
I see.
Yeah.
So do you still see a picture of bird to bead in relationship? Like you're still seeing the tip of the gun and using that as some sort of a measurement? Or is it all
Just
target?
It depends on if it's one I need to, you know, if it's something outside the comfort zone, then I'll be a little bit conscious. But if you throw me on a skeet field, I'll just look at the bird and kill it. And what happens is when I trick shoot, I typically shoot things, I'd say as much as 50% faster than I would if I shoot from the shoulder.
From the shoulder, yeah, exactly.
And because it's really efficient, you're just taking the gun to a spot and firing. Where when I shoot from the shoulder, I drag it out and look at it hard and, you know, and fire.
Yeah.
And so it's, like I said earlier, it's super instinctful and natural, way more natural than shooting from the shoulder.
Yeah. That's something. Hold on. That's something we need to keep you from at the shoulder. Then.
Yeah.
From the hip, you get it from the shoulder. You definitely.
I'm staying mounted, baby. Trust me. So I know, you know, you went to Lindenwood. We talked a little bit about that. I obviously went to Lindenwood myself, and that's kind of how we have a relationship.
We had some good times there.
We did have some good times there. We shot a lot of stuff, which was fun. You know, you are top-end competitive shooter, not only collegiately, not only in your division, but in this trick shooting.
Right.
How is the mental difference between, you know, college, you know, the big leagues, and going out and standing in front of 2,000 people tonight? I mean, do you feel more nervous about these shows, or do you feel more nervous when you're going for, you know, national championships, or is there nerves anywhere? And how do you prepare for that?
I wouldn't say I get nervous in front of the crowds anymore because I've just been there so many times. To be honest with you, if I could shoot my sporting clays tournaments in front of 2,000 people, I'd probably be better off.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, you're like the Happy Gilmore. Make some noise.
And there's been you know, opportunities over the years where it's been televised, and you know, for example, I shot the ESPN Great Outdoor Games, and
I watched it many times
through the PSA.
Shot pretty good.
Yeah.
How old were you? 19 then?
I was the youngest to win that. I took 4th place when I was 16, and I won the gold when I was 17.
17. Okay. Yeah. I remember because every once in a while they'll pop up on YouTube. Or something. I'm like, click on. I'm like,
I'm
also Travis MEARS there.
I'm also the reigning champ because that was the
last year. Yeah.
You're undefeated.
That's right. And so I get really excited when I'm about to go out in front of the crowd, and it's part of me flipping the switch because in general I'm a really laid back guy. I'm not going to be the loudest guy in the room. I'm just, you know,
We leave that to Zach.
you know,
Hey, no, Ricky.
Yeah.
I'm pretty, you know, even keel, and you know, but when I get out in front of the crowd, the purpose of me being there is to be entertaining, and so, you know, my volume goes up, my face gets a big smile, and it's go time. And so, and there's also just an extreme comfort level there where, first of all, I've got a shotgun and all these people are here to see me.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to, you know, really like go into the zone deep.
Yeah.
Where in sporting clays, it's such a, it's and just like trap, like anymore, it doesn't matter how hard the targets are, you've got to shoot 96+% on sporting clays. Obviously higher here, but
99 here.
right. And so I do, you know, I do feel the nerves. For example, the state shoot this year, the first day I shot good, I didn't shoot great. I shot 66 birds that day. I shot a 61. I really needed a 63. I go in the next day, and it was definitely the hardest course. It was the orange course at the Texas State this year.
Yeah.
And highest score shot throughout the entire event was a 61 out of 66, and I ended up running that course.
Oh.
And man,
Give me some love.
yeah, so that was fun. It was it was a great round. And I got nervous, but man, I feel like when the pressure's on, I usually do better.
Yeah.
But the problem is I go into the third day and I wanted it so bad. I wanted it so bad that I kind of, you know,
Overthought everything.
it and got in my own way, and, you know, ended up shooting okay, but not great. And so I would say in that scenario, I was nervous.
Yeah.
Instead of excited, I was nervous. I should have just let it happen.
Let it
But,
happen.
Just roll with it.
but man, I'm comfortable, really comfortable in front of the crowd.
Well, I know
And,
the
and if
kids-
they're enjoying it, like
Yeah.
it's
You're
hard.
loving it.
It's hard for them not to enjoy me
Yep.
blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
And
Or
so
throwing stuff for you.
and they get out there and they get involved, and I, you know, get a lot of volunteers, and it's fun, and so it's and you know, a cool thing about trick shooting, nobody cares if you miss.
It's all good. You're still the hero because you're living your dream. You're
Yeah,
out there
exactly.
doing what everybody
Yeah.
wants to do.
Nobody cares if you miss, because if I don't miss, then it ain't hard enough.
Yeah.
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 Okay, and so it might take me 2 attempts to do something, but that makes it all that much better because it's not easy. Okay, and I'm going to do stuff in the show that, you know, you're not going to step out in the cornfield behind the house and pull it off. Okay, and
Especially that verted table, you're laying on that.
yeah,
Yeah, the trampoline impresses me.
I know.
He's
I'm
off
like,
and down,
dude, your
he's shooting
knees
skeet
got
pairs.
to be hurting
Yeah.
sometimes.
I don't think we're athletic enough to pull that
Yeah,
off.
I'm not doing the trampoline.
it was
I mean, I could.
about 5 years ago. I had to upgrade my trampoline to a heavier
XL
weight limit.
we would need the triple XL
Yeah,
trampoline.
we're gonna need.
I couldn't just go to Walmart and get a trampoline. I had to get the jumbo. So
We're gonna need a big trampoline to jump on, Zach.
I make several jokes in the show about, you know, the dad bod, and, you know, when I shoot behind my back and stuff, you know, that stuff ain't near as easy as it used to be. You know, I started trick shooting when I was like 17, and, you know, 30, about to turn 37 in a couple weeks, and so 20 years doing this, and you know, some of the stuff is easier than it used to be because I've done it a million times. Some of it's like, man, I lean behind my back to shoot something. It's like,
Oh, that's tight back there.
I threw a rib out.
or I get off the trampoline and I'm just, you know, and I'm, you know, I can climb to the top of the mountain and chase an elk, but if you want me to jump on a trampoline in front of everybody, I start huffing and puffing. But it's fun, man. I love it. I'm passionate about it, and I'm gonna do it as long as I can. You know.
Well, we love it when you come down and do it. I know it's my most exciting night. I get to come watch you and see you, and the kids love it, and it's just a lot of fun. And
It is. The kids love, and that's the biggest thing is, I know I've introduced several kids to you when you're up there. My both boys, you know, one's be 23 here in a couple weeks, and then Tyler will be, actually, it was today, the 30th. So he'll be 16 tomorrow.
There you go.
So, and he's met you, you know, and he's on Team Fielke with us now too. But, you know, he always, it's funny, a lot of these kids will talk about it back home in our youth programs.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I know Travis.
He's
And they're like, you know, and it's funny, but all these kids, they look up to you. I know they look up to a lot of shooters and stuff, and it's so cool, especially with what you're doing, the gun safety part of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big deal. I know I've been to some clubs where some kids have tried some trick shooting.
Nice. Yeah.
And they're not, you know, there's other people. I'm like, Guys, you got to make sure you're out here, not shooting over here, or swinging the gun behind your back loaded, and all sorts of stuff.
You know, the range rule is always 2 shells. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm out there with a gun that's got 13 in it.
Yeah.
And so I've got to be aware of where it's pointing at all times. And most of the time when I turn around and talk to the crowd, I've got it pointing straight up in the air. But I've got 2 kids. My daughter just turned 8 2 days ago. My son just turned 5 back in April. And so I hope that they'll be here on the field here in just a few years.
Yep.
And man, it's been fun to continue my career. And like I said, one of these youngsters is going to be taking my job, soon.
You're living the dream. I mean, everybody wants to be Travis Mears. He's got a gun club. You go down there, beautiful family. He's coming out trick shooting.
Now, and let's talk a little bit about your club.
Yeah.
Defender Outdoors. So, where are you located at?
Yeah, so Defender Outdoors Clay Sports Ranch. We're on the west side of Fort Worth. When you're on the main course, which is where we do a ton of our corporate chase stuff, it's called the Cowtown course. It overlooks downtown Fort Worth, so that's how close it is. You can see the buildings on the horizon. And it's a beautiful working cattle ranch. We utilize about 160 acres of the ranch. We've got 3 12-station sporting clays courses, and then we've got a 6-station super sporting.
Okay.
How about trap fields? Any trap fields?
No,
They're close though.
No
Fort
trap.
Worth Trap and Skeets just right down the road, isn't it?
Yeah, good friends over there. Fort Worth Trap and Skeets right across the road within a
That's
mile.
okay. We can shoot sporting and
That-
then go
yeah,
over there.
And we did. We work together on some youth shoots throughout the year, and when we've got the big shoots, we utilize their RV outlets and all that stuff. And but we've been open for 5.5 years.
Yep.
We're throwing right around 6 million targets a year.
It's a lot of white flyers.
Oh yeah, a lot of white flyers, and then you're also using mech machines.
Right. Yeah.
We're both sponsored by mech, so
Yeah, I've got 100
awesome
mech
machines.
100 mech machines. We throw about, like I said, 6 million white flyers, and we do 140 shoots a year. That's NSCA
Wow.
shoots.
It's a big deal.
Corporate charity shoots, and then we've got ladies' nights and leagues. We got leagues going on all the
And
time.
then how many shows do you do a year? Like 20?
I'm doing 30 to 35
30.
shows a year.
That's
Yeah.
170 right there between
Yeah.
shoots and shows, and then he goes and competes too.
Right. Yeah, and I've got an incredible team there that, if I step out and go do something like this, I'm 100% confident that everything's going to be, run just fine and probably usually better.
Yeah. So you're not over.
Right.
Yeah. No. we
And
get
so
it.
I've had a busy summer this year. Went to Argentina for a hunt. The dates are all run together, but it's 1st of June, I think.
Yeah.
And I was over there for 10 days, shot a red stag and a water buffalo with my bow and had a blast.
Sweet.
Came home for 3 days and flew to Italy. And in Italy, my wife and I went over there and we did 3 days of filming for Fiocchi and BMP with another trick shooter. And we're going to be releasing those videos over the next 12 months. So, follow me, Travis Mears, on Instagram or Facebook, and then it's also going to be released on Fiocchi and BMP. But those are going to be really cool videos. And then we did some vacation stuff for a few days and went straight to London. And in London, we were shooting the World Championship sporting clays at EJ Churchill, and that was a blast. I've always wanted to go over there because it's kind of the home of sporting clays.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to experience the way they do it over there. Man, it was a blast.
Was the targets good?
Yeah, the targets were awesome. I mean, a lot of big birds, fast targets.
Yeah.
The average target was 45 yards, 50 yards, and ripping crossers. Everything took like 2-3 feet more than what you wanted to give it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's how
Just
Dubai
like the
was for
Dubai
me. I was
targets,
like,
yeah.
Ricky said 15 feet of lead. I said, what's 15 feet of lead look like? Like, Jesus.
He did. He didn't know
Come
what
on.
to do.
You're used to 15 inches.
Yeah, I'm like playing with this zone, not like school
Once
buses.
we got up to a target, and I said, Zach, you got to be more. And he's like, how much? And he goes, I said, here. I walked up, whack, and he goes, oh. And then you can just see like, he didn't know what to do.
What the heck?
But I did watch a lot of the video. Nick Berry,
Right.
who's, of course, he's Team BMP,
Right.
with us, and all the videos he put up of the shoot.
He does a good job.
Oh, yeah. And it was pretty
He's a
cool
good guy.
because I wanted to go, and that's something we got to look at doing maybe next year or whenever.
I'm in.
Going to one of their shoots.
Next
or
year
something.
it'll be at
It's at
M&M,
M&M, yeah.
in New Jersey. But yeah, I told my wife, I was like, you know, we're probably not going to be able to go every time it's over here, but I'm definitely going to go back. This, you know, the whole experience. There's no carts or buggies. You walk, and the pace of the round is super relaxing. You know, you kind of forget in the moment that you're in, you know, the largest championship in the world. And so we had a great time. Then did a few days vacation, came back, and now, you know, this show kind of kicks off a pretty wild month for me. So we're in Sparta now for the AIM Championship. I go home, and I've got I got a bachelor party next weekend. So
Oh, there you go.
there'll be some shenanigans. A good buddy of mine that started the Johnson County 4-H team with me years ago. We were a two-man team. You know, won everything when we were kids. He's getting married, so we're going to Vegas and doing that. Come back. Yeah, come back, and then I leave Wednesday and go to Minnesota. There's a big game fair up there. They run 60,000 to 80,000 people through there in 6 days, and I do 2 shows a day for 6 days. So I'm there for a week, or a weekend, and then come home for 2 days and go back. And so I've got essentially like 15 shows in August.
Oh, wow.
You're moving.
Yeah. So I might not be in shape right now,
But you're about to be tight.
but in 3 weeks I'm going to be a machine.
So I got to ask, you said you went to Argentina. Are you shooting those doves from the hip, or are you freaking mounting the shoulder?
Well, we wanted to shoot some dove, but we didn't end up shooting any dove.
No dove.
I shot one pigeon when I was trying to call in a fox, and a pigeon landed in front of me. I couldn't help myself. Other than that, everything was with my bow.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, I did. I shot the red stag the first day, and I got him at 65 yards with my bow, which I was proud of. And then I shot a buffalo 2 days later, and we had a hoot over there. And then I spent the last 3 days of the hunt trying to kill an emu with my bow because nobody had ever done it down there.
Oh, really?
And so those things they're tough to get in on. And you know what would happen is I'd put a hell of a stock on them, and it's kind of, you know, real flat brush country.
Yeah.
And once you get inside their bubble, they just lay down. You can't find them. And then you know you take a couple steps, you're trying to find them, and then they dart off like a quail. But I'm gonna go back and do that again. And next time I'll probably get, you know, 2 days of dove hunting or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. We need to go to Argentina. The Trap Talk boys need to go there, bring some sporting and some low gun shooters, and go blow some doves out of the sky. I think that'd be a fun time.
We could do doves, pigeons,
Yeah.
ducks.
All of it.
Rib eyes.
You know, I told my dad went with me, and a good buddy of mine, Dave Roberts, and I said the only reason we wouldn't do this every year is just the travel part of it.
Yeah.
It took us 2 days to get to the lodge.
I bet.
You know, you got I think it was 11-hour flight, and then you had to spend the night in Buenos Aires, and then fly on a domestic flight to where we were hunting. And you know, you're burning 2 days on the front, 2 days on the back. You know, and so we hunted for 5, and we're gone for 9 or 10.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only reason you wouldn't go do it every year.
That's kind of like our Dubai trip. I mean, it was, you know, nice
The jet
flight
lag
over.
was horrible.
Wasn't bad for me on the way over. I had no
He had
jet lag.
business class. I was in the back with the luggage.
You know, I walked right there and Zach's like, he looked turtle. He comes up and sees me. I'm laid back drinking old fashions.
Nice.
He's like, what is this?
Yeah, being a financial guy, I can't justify spending an extra $3,000 just for a seat.
I did,
I'm
it
like,
was
oh
only
my
like an extra $1,000. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm in.
He got the Ricky Marshall deal. He was always on the inside. On
Yeah.
the
I
inside.
said, I'm
He was
in.
wearing he was wearing an Emirates shirt all at the shoot and everything. I'm like, what's this about, Ricky?
Trading some trap lessons.
Yes, right. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, we know you got to get out here and do this show tonight,
Yeah.
and we're excited. Is there anything that you'd like to tell young people if they want to get into trick shooting or get into collegiate shooting? Is there any message that you'd like to leave us with?
Well, I think really absorbing all the opportunities that are out there right now is the most important message I can probably deliver, because you know when you were a pup, and definitely when you were a pup, there wasn't all these opportunities out there, all the different avenues of championships.
No.
And so so just go out there and shoot every shoot you can, and soak it all in, and every time you go out to shoot, you need to thank your biggest sponsors, your parents, because
Mom and Dad.
Yeah, without any of our parents, I mean, my dad was 100% behind me and my mom, and my dad took me around, because my parents were divorced, but it was my dad, and that's how I got into shooting and could afford to shoot.
Right.
Then when I turned 18, he's like, adios, and I was like, what?
Yeah, and I to this day, my dad's at the range twice a week, and so I still thank him for, you know, all the opportunities he gave me to
Yep.
travel and to shoot. And, you know, I've had a long career in this, and it's because I've tried to be humble and be thankful. And,
Yep.
and I've, over the years, I've made some great partnerships, and I'm shooting Fab Arm shotguns in the show tonight. When I shoot sporting clays, I shoot Caesar Greeny, which those two are under the same umbrella.
Yep.
And Fiocchi shells. It's just an incredible team. Fiocchi and BMP and Holly and the rest of the team that manage that are incredible. It's just it's a pleasure to be in those kind of partnerships. And I've had long ones. You know, for example, I've got Briley here on my shirt. When I was, a 10-year-old punk kid, they started helping me, and here I am, 37, and they're still
helping you.
Still there.
Oh yeah, Briley's great company.
Yeah.
I know you got Wenig too down
Yeah,
there.
and Wenig, they started building stocks for me when I was probably 15.
Yeah.
Okay, so 20-something years I've been shooting Wenig custom stock, and I wouldn't trust anybody else, with that, because they know how I mount the gun. And they take all of those things into consideration when they're building it for me. And so, incredible partnerships. I got great brands. Mac, we talked about earlier, and I'll go over here. We got Fab Arm and Firebird targets. Those are the exploding targets I'll be shooting.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I like those.
Yeah.
Even I can hit those things.
Well,
Hey.
Hello, Trap Talk listeners. Zach Nannini here, and I'd like to thank our show sponsor, Remington. And today, I would like to go into what shells I use when I'm training and when I'm shooting tournaments. First of all, we start with the gun club. This is a great shell. I shoot an 1145 ounce and 1/8, and this is what I shoot for singles and both shots of doubles. The only reason I don't shoot this in tournaments is because I like a little bit of a harder shot, a little bit of a harder break, but it works great, and it's the same speed as this STS shell. So this STS shell, a little bit harder shot, figure 8 wad column, smokes the targets a little bit harder. Also, I shoot for singles and doubles, both shots. And then when I go to the back fence and I want to put the smoke on them, I bring out the Nitro 27 ounce and 1/8, 7.5. It's a 1235 shell, blast the targets, it works really well. I hope these shells work for you, and I want to thank Remington for supporting Trap Talk.
I tell you, like I said, I've known Travis a long time, and I've shot sporting for, 20 plus years. Actually, probably longer than that. I shot it when I was a kid at the Broadmoor, when I was at the Olympic Training Center when I was 15.
Yeah.
We went up and they were like, yeah, we're taking out, shoot these targets. And I was like, what? And that's when my good buddy back in the day, Jason Booker, we're shooting this one target. You couldn't see it very well because there was a tree limb. And we were shooting 1100s that we got from the club. And he loaded that thing up pulled the plug out, loaded up with 5, and boop, 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 took that tree limb off.
There you go.
And I went, Jason, that ain't good. And he goes, we can see the target. And it was so funny though, because then here come Coach Woodhouse, and he's like, you guys ain't supposed to be doing that.
Especially
he got in trouble, blah, blah, blah. But I will say, when I come to when I started coming to sporting shoots, I'd see you were always welcoming. And that's the one thing is, as a trap shooter, that's what I basically shot my whole life. When I transferred over just wanting to shoot other stuff, it was cool to come in, and as a top trap shooter, I felt welcome.
Yeah, always welcome.
By the sporting shooters, even the skeet shooters. I shoot all disciplines, you know. And it's so cool. Every year we try to go to the national championships in San Antonio, and I know this year I'm planning on it, but it's on top of Nevada State shoot.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And Nevada State Trap Shoot, and so we're seeing we got a group that kind of wants to go to Nevada State Trap Shoot this year.
Right.
But it's always cool to come out, see you, especially here. But what you've done for the sport of shooting, clay target shooting, not just sporting clays, but just especially with the exhibition stuff. These kids, there's kids that shoot that don't play football, baseball, basketball, whatever. This is what they love to do. So they see someone like you out there doing that, and they get their goals, their dreams set. So it's really cool, and I want to thank you for doing that for everybody in the shooting world.
that.
You're the man. You're the brand ambassador. Everybody's proud to have you. You make everybody smile. You explode targets and planes. It's all good, Travis. But we would love to thank our show sponsors, obviously Wenig, Remington, Shot Tracker, RM Shooting Clinics. If you need a lesson, this guy right here, look for the barrel pelt on him, And then if you need a financial advisor, I'm your guy. So Zach Nannini.
We all need that.
Well, yeah, with all this money we're spending out here, we need to watch a little bit of it.
Well, what the coolest thing is the people listening and watching, and the three of us sitting here, we're all passionate about the same thing, and we each get to do it in different avenues. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do it in sporting and trick shooting, you guys on the trap, and then when you cross over, and that's what it's all about. And you know, and when we're not doing this, we're hunting, and so it's just it's a lifestyle, and it's something that you know is a really positive thing. You know, for example, this shootout here, we've got 1,600 plus kids participating in the, you know, the worst thing that might happen is an ant bite. You know, this is a really safe sport, and it's something that you can do from the time you're 8 until you're 98, and if you can still hold it up after 98 and keep going. And so this is something that we all get to do for a long time. We're lucky to be able to do it together.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it.
Well, we love it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next Friday.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to Trap Talk.